YouTube, what is going on? What is going on? Man, I'm still at the house. I took my truck over to the shop yesterday and dropped it off. Came home. I had a phone call. I actually got two phone calls. One phone call was for an issue that I knew about. So I told him, I said, sure, just tack it on. Second phone call I received was a little bit more disheartening. So I went over to the shop because the guy said he was having a problem uh, adjusting the last couple of making the last couple of adjustments. So I went over there. So my man said it's looking like you're gonna have to replace your cylinder head. And if you're anything like me, or if you've been around people that I've been around, when I heard someone say something about, but that was more so if you blew the head gasket, like the gasket was no longer good. But I've always equated that with the cost of doing something like that. You might as well just go and redo the motor, right? But if everything is within good working order, I don't want to do that. So my guy told me, he wasn't a younger mechanic, he was an older guy, you know. And when I initially took my truck over there to have him do a repair on it, he was working on it. And the two things that I can say about him from both instances was he seemed like he was a straight shooter, you know. He'd been working on Caterpillar engines for a long period of time, so it's just like, he seemed like he was a straight shooter. But he was like, man, that truck was fixing to drop a valve. So I'm like, when you say something like that, I'm thinking, okay, so we at DEFCON 1, we at DEFCON 2, we DEFCON 3. Like, where we at with it, you know? So he's like, yeah, the truck finna drop a valve, and you got the truck in the shop at the right time. So he asked me, he said, well, has the truck been missing? And I told him, I said, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. The truck been weak since I got it. So if it was a situation in which it was missing, I wouldn't know, because it's not like prior to getting this truck, I came from a cat. Before driving that truck, I was driving the Cummins, the IX15, with the when I was in the oil field. So and then the cat that I was driving at TMC, obviously it was governed down to 62. So even still, it's not like I know what it looks like at full speed, So I just look, okay, we just hit the hill, So maybe that was the issue, or at least part of the issue, So I ain't really getting any sleep thinking about that. And I also ate like a Baconator last night, and man, it was like almost as soon as I took the last bite, I just, like, my head it's still hurting. It's not hurting like it was last night, but it's still hurting a little bit. But yeah, man. So he was talking about, it's as far as getting a reman from Cat, it's not the prospects of that are not that clear, because it's not that many out there. You just have to get a new one. So I talked to my buddy, because he's doing an overhaul on his motor, because his motor, he cracked his head, just a whole bunch of other things. I don't want to really go into detail about what happened, because I don't really know all the details what happened. I just know the little part that he told me. He just told me he got to get his redone. So I was saying, man, this is wild. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm all in, So I thought to myself, I said, I got a few options, right? I got a few options. But again, I went on the final result because my man was like, "There's a couple more tests that he want to run to make sure that that's what it is." Because he said he knows somebody. I guess they retired from CAT. There was, I guess, maybe a lead engineer or something like that. Something of that nature. But so my options, right? Um, I can opt to pay for it, which they'll be stretching me, right? Because um, I just been paying, stuff off. As soon as I get it, I pay it off. But like I said, I'm going to, file my taxes, and like I said, I know I was in the red, you know, so I figure, okay, well, I get that back. I could ask to borrow it from someone that I know, you know. I could try to get a business, a little business loan, which I put in the application for one, and it came right back. But one of the things that I saw that was an issue was it was such a short turnaround. Like it was like short term. And then I seen someone say like they are charging in excess of like 50% interest, and I'm like, man, nah, because credit cards they hit you for like 18 to 20, depending on how long your credit history is. So I'm like, 50%, like nah, that's crazy, especially like in a year turnaround. Like nah, because you may look at it and say, okay, well, I can get the money back, but if you charge me 50% interest on a short term loan, it's a loan shark. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get yourself out of it. It's people that gonna get themselves out of credit cards. So, and that's 18 to 20, which some people may have more, but 50, like nah. So I'm like nah, cause as soon as I hit like submit, like boom, the phone rang. I'm like, let me do something. So as soon as I saw that, I was like nah. So then I was like, all right, well, I'm with the company, and I gotta ask them, like, hey, this is the situation. You see what I'm saying? I've been with y'all, almost a year now. Um, you know, I don't think I have any issues or anything of that particular nature like that. Um, the only thing they might pull up is say, well, you don't put that much in your escrow, and I just be like, well, I keep my own because I want to be as independent as possible. Like I get my own tires aside from the discount stuff like that. I can do that, or since I have a um, whole life insurance plan, I could I could see if I could borrow from that. Now the interesting thing about that is something like that. I would want to see if I do that, the interest that accrues over on that. Does that interest go to me? Because a whole life insurance plan, it's it's seemingly an investment. The money is there, you know, for you to borrow it. I've seen um, certain individuals talk about that. Now, on the face, the plan is only like 13K, but the thing about it is it's similar to like an investment. The more you put in it, it invests and it compounds over a period of time. So, and then like I say, it's whole life. So throughout your natural life, you sign up your beneficiaries, whatnot like that, and they divvy it up after however that gets. And it just hit me for that tonight. Well, just a few minutes ago. So I was thinking about that, but I don't really know because they were like you can borrow up to 90%. But like I said, and then cat man, I don't know if I don't know what the situation was. So I've been looking. So I saw certain companies they have aftermarket head, aftermarket heads, right? So I was looking, and what I saw some people was like, man, had an aftermarket head. I know a guy, he had one, drove the truck like 5,000 miles, dropped the valve. So my man was like, if you drop a valve and it gets off in that block, it's a wrap. And I know how much a new one of the motors costs. I seen it. New motors like, well, I ain't gonna say. I feel like they in between 28 and 42,000. And I say 42,000 because I seen that's what Fitzgerald was selling them for. But I seen some for 36, and I seen others and stuff like that. So you don't even want to get into something like that. So but getting back to the aftermarket, they were saying like I wouldn't do it. I didn't see anybody that say to do it, and like I said, I try to. Anytime I do something truck related, I always type in whatever the preferred form I go to. My preferred form to go to is like truckers report form. And so I type it in and I put truckers report after it, and then I get the results. And so I didn't see anything that stated that getting an aftermarket head, even though it was 50% cheaper, was the way to go. So I saw a cylinder head on Cat yesterday, and that thing like $8,000. And I was like, and then they didn't even have like no core charge attached to it. It was just like $8K. And I was like, that's crazy. So, but I thought that was the only one they had. So then I kind of kept looking, and so I seen them. I'm like, oh, okay, so y'all do have something like for 4,000, like 5,000, like like some brand new. But I'm trying to figure out what makes this one 8,000. You see what I'm saying? Because my look it'd be like, oh, well, the ones that are 4,000, those are like for like this particular one. Like this may be for a C13 or something like that, C12 or something like that. May not be for the C15. So, but seemed like the dimensions and everything they seem to be like the same. So that was that. As far as any remans, I saw maybe one reman, and it was like in Brookhaven or something like that. But they were saying like due to the measurements and stuff like that, it may not work because looking at a new one and then looking at the reman, I don't know if they have to shave or whatever the situation is that to do with that. But like none of the measurements were like they were close, maybe like they were close, but they weren't like exact. So that was an issue in itself. So, so yeah. So I'm gonna see about maybe borrowing from that, since it's there. Now the only thing would be is if it's like, oh, well, you can only borrow like the amount that maybe you've put in, like what you have. Like it may not be a situation where it's like, okay, this is what your policy is for. But I'm not. I'm a novice to this. I've heard here recently a lot more people talking about using it as like a wealth vehicle and stuff like that to like acquire stuff. So I've seen that, but I haven't just gotten into it because I never, I thought maybe like, okay, maybe a couple of years down the road, if I want to do something like, okay, boom, I can tap into that. So, and then I have investments, but I'm just like, I don't really want to bother my investments, even though this truck in itself is an investment, and the return on this for what I put in probably would be equivalent or it would exceed what I already have. But it's just the fact that I already got that in there. And if it's something else I could tap into, then I would rather do that. But at this point, after seeing like the business law, I'm like, nah, we're gonna X that out. So we're doing a process of elimination. So we done eliminated that, and we're gonna go from there. But with that said, on to some almost nicer things. I don't know how many truck stops sell this, but I bought this. It's a cooler but it's electronic. You got like it's Wi-Fi on it. You can set the temperature and stuff like that. And the reason I got it is because I'm like, I've gone through like 3 refrigerators in my truck since I got it. So I'm like, maybe I should opt to get this. So like, Dome Tech, this thing was like $1,000, man. But they were like, they are authorized seller at the truck stop that I got it from in Dodge City, Alabama. So they like, if something happened to it, you can bring it back, pay $30, and we'll get you another one. So I looked at that as an investment because, like I said, I know I've gone through my fair share of refrigerators. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know if it's a ventilation issue or what the situation is because I don't really know. I honestly don't. So I said at least I know with that I can turn it to where the fans and the compressor are more so to the open than kind of like stuck over there in a corner. And plus, from a space standpoint, it gives me, it fits directly in the little space that I got set aside for it. So I got that. But I'm about to take something for this headache, man. Like for real. Shoot. Like it's coming back on. But I'm gonna check and see what the life insurance policy talking about. If I can borrow from it. And if I can, then that'll be great because I know how much the plan is. So I could probably get the cylinder head, and then the money I have, get the work done, and do it like that. If that don't work, then like I said, borrow from somebody or just talk with Blair. So those are my 3 right now. So, but yeah, man, it was unexpected, but it's good because I was thinking about the lanes that I run, and I said, man, I couldn't possibly fathom dropping a valve, going up a hill up 65, trying to get pulled over to the side of the road, and the price of a record service to tow me back to the house. Cause I had one of my other partners, his engine went out, and for 60 miles they charged him like $1,700. So I don't even want to think about that. But anyway, if they don't call me like by noon, I'll probably ride back over there and see what he done ran into, and plus obviously, I've talked with some other people with like some reputable shops and stuff to go to, but when you tell me the truck is on the verge of or could be on the verge of dropping a valve, it gets to the point to like I don't even know if I don't even want to move the truck anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm gonna ask him because I told my wife, I said I want to know if the internals that you see, do you feel they'd be good for another 100,000, 150,000 miles? If you can say that, then I already know what I got. I already know what the next step is gonna be. So, and like with these gold and platinum kits, the gold doesn't come with the cylinder head. The platinum does, and you can add turbos and stuff to that, so that makes the price go up. But if I can get another 100, excuse me, then I know what time it'll be this time next year. So. And then like today is like one day before the day I actually bought the truck last year. I bought the truck last year, February 24th. So there's that. But anyway, man, I'm gonna get on up out of here, man, and I'm gonna take some for the headache. Let me get my day started after a while, man. Hard to sleep, man, when you got stuff. When you got something like that, man. Especially when like I said, y'all in. So, but I said I got a couple of options. You know, it'd be different if I didn't have any options at all. So I got a couple, and I'm just gonna check them all out. Yeah. Anyway, man, y'all be safe out there, man. If y'all out there riding, if y'all at the crib like me, man, you know, make the best of it. Be productive.